Hello everyone and welcome to Gameweek 2! First, let's look at my score predictions of what I think could, but let's be real, won't happen, to help back up my team decisions. First, we have Arsenal, who will hopefully play Lacazette, Pepe and Aubameyang all at the same time and at home, and if they're all playing, I'm expecting them to sit it, bang a few in with a nice and lemon squeezy 2-0. This one is really hard to say because Bournemouth were apparently on strike last week, and Villa played good until they lost, but I'm going for a bounce back and the Cherries to win a close 2-1. Hard to say again because did Brighton look good because Watford were bad? And did West Ham look good because Man City are quite good? Truly, top 10 questions science can't answer. But I'm expecting a very back and forth game with both teams going all out attack for again a close 2-1 to the away team. Everton, who managed to get more red cards than goals last game, but almost actually scored a few, so against Watford, who were a little bit rusty, I feel like the home advantage could give them that edge for a 2-0 win. Very tough one to call again. You swear it was the Premier League. But with both teams attempting to be more attacking, I can see both teams scoring quite a few, or maybe none at all. But for now, 2 each is my good guess. Southampton had some chances but didn't look amazing, so against the Liverpool side that yes could be rotated after the Super Cup, but have great depth with the chance of the other players to come in again, like Mane and Keita to get the goals in for a 3, hoping for a Liverpool clean sheet 0. Right now, Spurs are defensively shaky and it could be Kyle Walker-Peters versus Sterling, which could be quite lethal. So I'm going for a comfortable 3-1 Man City, and if Sterling gets another hat-trick, he's hacking, that's the only reasonable reason. But I think there's always a chance for Kane to score when he's on the pitch, but it would be quite difficult for him to score if he wasn't on the pitch. Very hard to judge. Both teams seem like they are decent defensively and have got something going forward. That something is 4 different forwards for Sheffield, and for Palace, it's just Zaha. But if Wilfie does something, it could edge Palace's way, but 1-1 seems fair for now. It's hard to see if Chelsea were bad, or if Man United were really good, or if they were just unlucky, but they did make some nice passes and link-up play, so I don't expect them to not score many, even without a clinical striker, but I do expect a few rotations around the team, so be wary of that. And then Leicester failed to score against a strong Wolves team, but could do it against the right now wibbly-wobbly Chelsea defence, so 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. I'm going for a goalless Wolves again, even though they have some great forwards. Man United defence is better, and although Man United's midfield just doesn't exist, I think it will be close enough to keep them out. With Man United not quite getting as fortunate with their scoring, so yeah, this could be 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-2, 7-5, or just 0-0. So these are my score predictions for Game Week 2, and now on to my team. So if you don't know already, I have Ryan in goals, Trent, Digne and Holebas in defence, Salah, Sterling, Sigurdsson and Perez, then finally Wilson, King and Haller. To have a nice and balanced team which got me 80 points last week, which sounds good, but isn't even in the top 1 million. Like what the frick is that? But a few players tickled my pickle for transfers such as Martial, Wan-Bissaka and any Man City defender, as I don't have that. If you want to check my players to watch going into this game week, there is a video for you somewhere. But I have come to a decision that I won't be making any transfers this week. I also suggest you all to do this too. Save it for next week so you can make 2 transfers at a time, which is always the smarter decision, as you can spread out your funds more. For example, dropping an 8 million player down to a 7 million, so you can upgrade your 5 million player to a 6. Like for like replacements are sometimes much harder to see the benefits, as they could flip-flop back and 4 points, but 2 players can make a consistent difference to make it worth it. Now on to my team's fixtures. Ryan managed to get a clean sheet and even some bonus points last week, but this week he plays West Ham at home. I feel like this could either be another clean sheet or a good chance of some save points, so not too bad. He also has a better fixture over the likes of Pope, and it's good to see that, as it's not just about getting a lot of points, it's about beating the other people around you, not just for bragging rights, but for overall rank too. Trent plays Southampton away, which I think could not only be a great chance for a Liverpool clean sheet, remember those days, but also another great chance for attacking returns, which he and Robson always usually have. The main concern is the possibility of getting less minutes dependent on the Super Cup, which will not pickle my fickle, but Trent was rested for most of the game, so that's fine. Digne plays Watford at home, who had little attacking threat, so again a great possibility of a clean sheet, and also attacking returns if Everton can actually find the goal. The downgrade to Coleman is still a great option if required, as they both seem to be attacking as each other, but Digne does have that slight more being on free kicks. My final defender, Holebas, is also in that fixture, playing Everton away. This may seem bad, but like I said, Everton find it hard to score. So if they do score, taking away points from Holebas, at least I hope it's one of my Everton players that do it. This is a point I'd like to make actually. Sometimes your players will be squaring up against each other, and that's completely fine. Your maximum points potential might be down, as you can have your forward playing one of your defenders, scoring with the defender still keeping his clean sheet, but the average points could be there. And for example, if one team just doesn't perform, at least you have an option on the other team which could make up for the points. So reduce maximum, but potentially higher average, which is fine to happen a few times throughout the season, so not to worry too much. On to midfield, we have, Salah. Wasn't actually amazingly involved, but still managed to get a goal and assist, which I feel like he could quite easily match again, playing Southampton away. Again, like Trent, hope his minutes aren't reduced after the Super Cup, but he did play 120 minutes, so I hope he plays at least 75 minutes to get 75 points. Then Sterling plays Spurs at home. Although all Sterling and Kane owners did great last week, I very much doubt they could get the combined of 5 goals again, but they could. But they probably won't. I can see Sterling getting at least one return just because of Man City, and also not the best of Spurs defence right now, so even in a tough game week, he should be a great option. But even if he doesn't do anything, he's already made up for it by having 20 points last week. Sigurdsson, same like Digne, plays Watford at home, which is obvious because they kind of play for the same team, which could hinder Holebas's points if Sigurdsson does get returns, but at least it would balance out and not be too bad for this week. Siggy came close to scoring last game, so I feel like it's just a matter of time before he gets them points. And the last midfielder is Perez. Unfortunately, he is playing basically as a winger rather than a second striker, so not always in amazing positions to score, but for his price I still feel like he can get some great returns, at least next week and hopefully this week away to Chelsea, who are also weak themselves at the back. On to attack, and the final chances for Wilson and King to score. Both were disappointing, although Wilson did get an FPL assist after he should have scored himself, but I'm hoping at least one of them would get a goal, and hopefully quite a few against a Villa team who conceded over 30 shots last week, so should be quite a good chance. Their game after would be against City, so if they don't score this week, then that's them definitely going in the bin. Finally, and again, my punt I'm sticking with is Haller. I didn't expect him to get anything against City, but next he plays Brighton away, which seemed like a great game before the season, but I actually think it's still great, as even though they are playing better, they're a lot more attacking and higher up the pitch, allowing for more chances for the West Ham attack to do their thing. So overall, we have pretty favourable fixtures to at least get a decent score. Best case scenario, all my forwards get some returns, and that's a lot of points. Worst case, we have very similar to last week without Sterling's returns, which wouldn't be good at all. And finally, the captain option. My plan was always going to rotate Salah and Sterling, and even though Sterling had an amazing week last week, I would have a lot more confidence in Salah scoring more against Southampton than Sterling at Spurs. But it will be interesting to see who most people captain. But there we have it. My team going into game week 2. I hope the game week goes well for you and myself. I will review my predictions and my points not too long after the game, but this time I actually wait for the tables to fully update, so I actually show off the best people, and I'll also show off the best in my league and overall in the world again. So thanks for watching, and remember,
don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now.